G'day guys, Will here, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is by request. You guys wanted to see what the triple screen and motion platform looked like with a flight simulator. Now, by no means am I in any way experienced with flight simulators whatsoever. So do not take this as a review video or anything like that. All I'm doing here is just sharing the experience with you guys because you asked me to do it. So basically what we're doing here is X-Plane 11 set up with the triple screens. We've got three 35-inch 3440 by 1440 resolution screens, as well as a Next Level Racing motion platform version 3. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. Now, I haven't done any testing whatsoever up to this point. All I've done is install X-Plane, get the controls very basically configured and things like that. I've used X-Plane probably about 1.5 years, 2 years ago now, to muck around with a 737 a little bit, but I've never flown an SR-71 or anything like that. So the thing that I'm interested in most of all here is to see whether we sort of get that sense of G-force through the motion platform, because as I mentioned in the previous videos we were testing for sim racing, when you initially turn in or you initially start to bank inside an aircraft, you feel that initial sort of G-force. And the seat can reproduce that pretty accurately because it's tilting back or forward or left or right. But obviously if you're going through a sustained ascent or bank or something like that in a plane, you feel a sensation of sustained G-force. And because the seat's not able to continuously move around on the same plane, you don't get that same sense, or I'd imagine you're not going to get that same sense of movement through the seat itself. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, let's basically just see what happens. So we'll put on the headphones. We're at Area 51, no better place to fly a SR-71 Blackbird. All right, let's get going. I have no idea what to expect here. Get some throttle happening first. Oh, that's cool. Nice. You feel the engine powering up underneath you. I'm feeling it through the butt kicker as well as the seat. There's a little bit of vibration there. I'm gonna really strap down here because I've got no idea what to expect. But get the throttles happening. Have a little bit of a look around here in the SR-71. So cool. Alright, let's take the brake off and see what happens. Zoom back a little bit here as well. Yeah, that's better. Alright. And I'm not feeling any texture in the runway whatsoever. I feel the engine. No texture in the runway at all, and I'm not really feeling anything when okay, so I feel it tilting me back as I lift off. I don't feel anything through the landing gear or anything like that. I guess that there's no telemetry data out of the game for that kind of movement, but once we get up here, we'll loop around. Very subtle movement at the moment, but I'm not trying to climb steeply or anything. There we go. Now we're starting to get a little bit of movement. Starting to red out here. We'll get up above the clouds. Okay. And loop around. Okay. Whoa. Okay. So it's not giving you the sense of G-force. I didn't expect a sense of G-force, but it definitely makes you feel like you're moving around inside a plane. That is cool. And you kind of... Oh, God. Oh, I actually feel a little bit sick here. Just the feeling of actually having to look around you. It's like when you're sim racing, your focus is primarily on the center screen and you're kind of just using the side screens for peripheral. But when you're flying, oh, I actually feel sick. When you're flying, you really do look around the cabin and you really absorb what's going on around you. So it adds a lot to the realism and a lot to the immersion. But I feel that engine RPM, I feel that pitching and rolling kind of effect going on through the seat. Really cool. We'll try and get a little bit more aggressive movement happening in a moment. I just want to kind of bank around again. Oh, that is cool. It's funny because it doesn't look like all that much on the camera, I'd imagine. Like I'm not being thrown around or anything. Oh. But it really does feel... I mean, I don't want to say it feels realistic because I've never flown an SR-71, but it definitely feels immersive. There's no question about that. Let's loop around here, see if we can get a good look at the lake bed of Groom Lake here at Area 51. Bit of cloud cover, but that's okay. Alright, let's do some crazy shit now, I think. Let's move around a bit. Oh god. So like it's subtle, but it definitely throws you around. I think we're going to get into a death spin now. Oh god, I can't control it. I've lost control. We're going to crash into the lake bed. We'll see if we can get a spin happening. See if we can get a dramatic accident. Oh god. Whoa. Oh. Oh god, I feel really ill. I'm actually feeling genuinely scared. What's going to happen when I hit the ground here? We'll keep full throttle on. Oh. Trying to pull out of this. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I need an ejection button. Don't think I've got it bound on my controller here. Oh, we're going to hit the ground. I'm going to turn the throttle off and see what happens. Here it comes. Oh, here we go. Oh. Oh. Okay, it wasn't too dramatic. It wasn't too bad. Oh, here we go. Okay, wow. So that is, it's definitely very, very, very cool. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be flying at SR-71 most of the time when we're doing flight sims, but I thought that'd be an interesting place to start. So what we'll do now is we'll actually jump into a 737. We'll see if we can do a landing in some turbulent weather at Sydney Airport, which is something I'm a little bit more familiar with. I have actually done some time in a real-life flight simulator about 8 years ago now. I was lucky enough to get for a Christmas present, actually, I go in a flight simulator. It was a proper full cockpit setup. Didn't have any movement or anything like that, but it was a proper 737 cockpit with a triple projection system out the front. So it was very, very cool, and I sat down with a proper pilot who showed me in about 15 minutes how to land a 737. So we'll see if we can replicate that. We'll see if we can still land it. Okay, so we're all set up here at Sydney Airport on a final approach. You can see the Harbour Bridge just down there and the Opera House on my left. We're in a thunderstorm here. We've got lots of turbulence. We've got all sorts of things happening. I wanted to try and make it a little bit dramatic so that I'd feel things going around inside the cockpit and stuff like that. I want to sort of try to make it as dramatic as possible. So what we need to do here is I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to get all this configured while we're paused. So we've got to auto throttle our flight director. We want speed control here. We want APP. I think that engaged. I'm not sure. There we go. Click engage. I've got this problem with X-Plane where the screens flicker when you're using triple screens. I'm not sure exactly what causes it, but I've had all sorts of problems trying to solve that today before I recorded this. Wasn't able to get it sorted. But anyway, let's see what we can do. So, oh, we want APP on. Everything looks like it's working. Yeah, glide slope is operating there, and I'm feeling all sorts of horrible turbulence through the seat right now. You see the rain flying past us on the left there. It really does give you... It's really cool actually looking... Oh, there's some lightning. It's really cool actually looking around the cabin and sort of seeing what's going on. And I am feeling... It's very, very subtle, but I am feeling the slight movements in the seat. Just little bits of pitch and roll, and I'm feeling the vibration of the engines through the butt kicker as well, which is cool. But, oh god, I have no idea what I'm doing. Is 180 the right speed for approach in a 737? I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. I feel like, what was that movie? Kurt Russell landing the plane with Halle Berry. Was it Executive Decision? I can't remember. I'll have to look it up and look at the comments, but hopefully we can do a Kurt Russell and land this thing. There's the Harbour Bridge on our left. Very cool. Now, how are we doing for approach here? We're a little bit shallow, I think. That's okay. I feel like there's a bit of a downdraft happening or something that's kind of pushing me down here. I feel like I'm really low. We've got that screen flicker happening again. I don't know, like it's showing my diamond there is too high, but I think it's probably the autopilot's probably kind of fighting the downdraft here a little bit. It's probably going to pitch up again as we get closer, but I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing here, guys, but we're going to try and get this thing on the ground. Oh, it genuinely does make you feel sick. Like, it's funny because it's not... Like, it's not giving you that G-force feeling, but it still does give you that kind of pit of your stomach movement kind of effect that's going on in a real plane. God, this is dramatic with the lightning and everything around me. Oh, there goes the center screen again. Really low here. Come on, center screen, stop flicking off on me. There goes our auto throttle. Oh, I'm getting more engine vibration now. Something's beeping at me. Alright. We're looking good here. I think we're going to be okay. Come on. Come on, you can do this. Autopilot off. Flaring a little bit. Come on, come on, come on. Brakes are on. Reverse thrust. Stay on the runway. Come on, you can do this. Back on the center line. I think we did it. Oh boy. I didn't feel anything in the seat when I actually landed. I expect to get a little bit of a bump or something like that, but I guess that the game doesn't have any sort of ground effects or anything like that, any textures or runway textures or anything like that. It's only really reproducing the throttle data and, you know, pitch and yaw and roll and all that sort of thing. So that would probably explain why we didn't feel anything there. But we got the plane down, that's the main thing. Okay, so we'll pause it quickly and have a little bit of a chat about this. So, I mean, it's not the most realistic feeling in the world in terms of, you know, ground effects and stuff like that, but it's definitely giving me that feeling of immersion and, you know, I'm feeling what the plane's doing as I'm moving around. And, like, I've never flown a real plane, so I don't know what it's meant to feel like, but I've been in planes before, and, you know, it definitely gives you that kind of pit of your stomach movement and kind of in a plane when you know, because it's sort of all moving on the same axis, it's kind of balanced in the middle. So you really do sort of pivot and roll and pitch and yaw kind of on that center axis, which is kind of what this motion platform does as well. So it actually does give you a really realistic feeling of the plane moving around. But what it's not really able to do is give you that real sense of G-force as, you know, as you bank hard, because as I said at the start of the video, because it's not able to spin around and continuously move you, it's only able to give you that initial turning, which is the same thing we had with the sim racing stuff that we did as well. But that's not to say that it's not giving you that extra level of immersion and things like that. But I definitely feel like there's a limitation here with the telemetry data that's actually coming out of the sim itself, especially when we're taking off and landing and stuff like that. We really don't get the bump in the road or anything like that that we would kind of expect. Definitely not a fault of the motion platform, just a limitation of the software. But I'm going to leave it at that for this video, because obviously I don't want to sort of try and come across like an expert by any means, but hopefully you guys have found it entertaining. Now, if you do want to see some videos from some people or a guy that is very, very, very good at what he does, the opposite of me, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to one of my mates, DJ Sean, who I actually met through this channel. He reached out to me for some help with his overclocking about a year ago now, and I was watching some of his videos. Now, he does this really cool thing with VR flight sims where he uses his hand controllers to actually control all the switches and everything within the cockpit. And I actually found myself watching one of his live streams for about 4 hours just because it was so fascinating. I'm not sure if he's a pilot in real life, but he definitely has some sort of aviation experience, and his videos are absolutely incredible. Even if you're not a flight sim kind of guy or girl, they're worth checking out because I found them absolutely fascinating. And the best part is that all the streaming that he does is actually for raising money for charity. He was touched by some health issues in his family a couple of years ago and relied heavily on Red Cross and a couple of other charities. So he's sort of trying to pay that back now with his streaming, which is really, really awesome. So it's for a great cause as well, which is fantastic. So I encourage you guys to check out his channel. It's definitely worth watching. Really, really fascinating stuff and really engaging. So good on you, DJ Sean. Shout out to you, and link is in the comments to his Twitch and his YouTube channel. Definitely check that out, guys. Show him some love because he's doing an awesome job with his channel raising money for charity. So check that out. But that is it for this video, guys. Hopefully you found it somewhat entertaining. It's a little bit of an awkward one because I don't really know what I'm doing with flight sims, but it's something that you guys asked me to do, so I thought, what the heck, we may as well do it. Next, I'm going to get stuck back into Assetto Corsa and show you guys what that is like. So stick around, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and the notification button so you don't miss the next video, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.